this thing on? God!
And if you're still with us after that screw up, thanks, Miggy. That was him trying to introduce the podcast this week. But I think going forward, we're gonna leave him to the hockey numbers.
I just gotta work on it. That's all I gotta do.
I mean, I appreciate you trying. Maybe practice with yourself in the mirror a couple times, yeah?
I just gotta learn the tech. That's all.
Today marks the recording of episode 10. We are post NHL trade deadline, so you guys are going to hear a lot from Miggy today. So,
on top of
prepare your ears.
On top of that, the NFL agency opened up on Monday.
Oh yeah, free agency opened up. So we're going to cover some basketball scores. We're going to cover WBC. But yeah, let's get right into it. So this past week, NBA is getting into its final stretch. Last 20-ish games. So
all or nothing.
All or nothing. Every game matters. I was looking back on these notes, and I didn't realize just how many important enough games there were this last week. So let's get through it. So last Tuesday, Detroit versus Cleveland. Duran for Detroit had 24 points, 14 rebounds. Cade Cunningham had 14 assists. However, he shot 4 of 16 from the field and was minus 11 while he was on the court, which does not do well for his MVP case. Tyson for Cleveland had 22 points on 42% shooting from three-point range. And Dennis Schroeder for Cleveland had 15 points and was plus 16 off the bench. So Cleveland had some support from their supporting cast, as you should. And I want to mark this game as an important game because Detroit had a really bad week. They had a 4-game loss streak this week, which is not great for a number 1 seed team.
Well, not only that, it puts their number 1 at jeopardy if they keep losing.
Oh yeah, with Boston, Cleveland, New York on their tails. We'll get more into that later. Also on Tuesday, New York against Toronto. New York won 111-95. Karl Anthony Towns had 21 points, 12 rebounds. Jalen Brunson had 26 points, 10 assists. Two-headed monster there in New York. They have been playing great. There's a few more New York games I'm going to go over, so we'll see a bit more of that. Brandon Ingram for Toronto had 31 points on 20 shots in the losing effort, so very, very efficient. Emmanuel Quickly for Toronto had 13 points, 12 assists. Decent point guard numbers, but he struggled. He shot 4 of 14 from the field and 3 of 10 from 3. Big thing about this game is Toronto hasn't beat the Knicks in over 3 years. The last time that the Toronto Raptors beat the New York Knicks was on January 22nd of 2023. So and both teams have changed a lot since then, so I don't know if this is just a weird kryptonite thing. Something I want to circle back on a bit later is Toronto currently has a 4-10 divisional record, which is not good. But I'll get back to that later. Also, this past Tuesday, San Antonio against Philadelphia. San Antonio won 131-91. 40-point blowout. And to make things worse, the San Antonio Spurs led by as many as 49. So, it was not a close game. San Antonio had 8 players with 10 or more points. Philadelphia, however, was missing Joel Embiid to injury, Paul George due to a suspension, and Kelly Oubre Jr. due to illness. So they were shorthanded, but a 40-point blowout game at a professional sports level is laughable. Philadelphia has been slumping, though, recently, so we'll come back to that again. This past Wednesday, Oklahoma City versus the New York Knicks. OKC won 103-100. Now, this game was a battle. I would say New York had a 40-point third quarter. So OKC was up fairly big going into halftime, but with New York's 40-point third quarter, New York had the lead going into the fourth. They were up 80-77. Chet Holmgren for OKC had 28 points. He had 6 3-pointers as well. SGA chipped in with 26 points. Cat, again, as I mentioned earlier, 17 points, 17 rebounds. He's been having a monster week. New York had a chance to tie and win the game in the dying seconds. They missed 2 3-pointers nearing the end of the game. Charlotte versus Boston. This was, I wouldn't necessarily say an upset, just because Charlotte's been hot as of late, but standings-wise, it was an upset. So Charlotte beat Boston 118-89. Boston did not have a good game. Charlotte had 4 players score above 17 points. Boston only had 2 players in double digits, and that was Jaylen Brown with 20 points and Derek White with 29 points. So Boston's supporting cast and just team did not have a good game. Boston shot 38% from the field. This game, as of the time of that win, Charlotte was on a 6-game winning streak. So they have been hot since the All-Star break. This past Thursday, Golden State versus Houston. Golden State won 115-113 in overtime. So tightly contested game. However, Golden State did not have Stephen Curry or Kristaps Porzingis. So this was a down and out Golden State team who should have lost to Houston even at full strength. But their young players, their sort of system core players managed to pull out a small upset win over Houston. Reed Shepherd for the Rockets did have 30 points off the bench. Smith Jr. for the Rockets, however, went 0 of 8 from the field. He ended with 3 points on 3 throws. Did not have a good game. For the star for Golden State in this win, though, was Podziemski. He had 26 points and 9 assists. Moving on, Toronto versus Minnesota. This was a bit of a grudge match between me and Miggy here on the podcast. Minnesota ended up winning 115-107.
Boom!
You're also going to like this. Anthony Edwards had 22 points on 8 of 12 shooting.
Boom!
Very efficient. Rudy Gobert, on your fantasy team, Miggy, had 18 points, 12 rebounds.
Yeah, I had him on my bench.
Really? The 1 week.
Hey, it was either him or Murray.
Anyways, moving on. RJ Barrett had 25 points in the game. At the time of this win, Minnesota was on a 5-game win streak. They are climbing that Western rank. This game was very tight heading into halftime. Minnesota had a 55-54 point lead. However, Minnesota outscored Toronto 35-22 in the third quarter.
Boom!
Deciding 12 minutes there. Next game, Detroit versus San Antonio. San Antonio won 121-106. Cade Cunningham, 26 points, 10 of 26 from the field, which is 38.5%. So I've been seeing a pattern with Detroit recently of when Cade does not shoot well, he still gets his numbers, but Detroit doesn't win. Wembanyama, massive game. 38 points, 16 rebounds, 5 block shots. De'Aaron Fox for San Antonio, 29 points, and Stephen Castle, 11 points, 12 assists. So, big games from the San Antonio boys. Unfortunately for Detroit, Asar Thompson did go down with an injury early in the game. So, that will hurt their end-of-season push here, but hopefully he's back soon. Los Angeles Lakers, 113 to Denver's 120. Denver wins that game, which is really important since the Lakers and the Nuggets are pretty much neck and neck in the standings, fighting for that 6th and 5th spot currently. LeBron, in this game, set the all-time record for field goals made by a player in their career. So, props to him. Luka Doncic, on a slightly more negative end, got his 15th technical of the season. So the complainer got his tech. Great player, but he has been complaining a lot. Luka Doncic did finish with 27 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Jokic on the other end notches another triple-double with 28 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists. Jamal Murray chips in for the Nuggets with 28 points. Both teams, however, shot very, very well this game. Both teams shot above 50% from the field and above 40% from three. So I wouldn't say an offensive game, but just an efficient game. Past Friday, New York Knicks versus Denver. Small blowout here. New York won 142 to 103.
Still almost a 40-point game.
Yeah, 39-point game. OG Anunoby for the Knicks had 34 points. Cat, again, I've mentioned his name a few times here, had 19 points, 17 rebounds. He has been a double-double monster in this past week. Jokic in losing effort did have 38 points. Denver got a few guys back from injury. Gordon and Cam Johnson, it was their first games back, so getting them back into their lineup and rotation. This 39-point loss, however, for Denver ties their franchise record for their worst loss and is their largest loss of the season. So, tough game from Denver, especially with them fighting for that sort of middle of the pack spot in the West, because they are at risk of falling into the play-in right now. So, Jamal Murray also did leave the game with an injury later in the game. Moving on, Los Angeles Clippers versus San Antonio Spurs. Tightly contested game. Spurs won 116 to 112. San Antonio. This was a comeback victory for San Antonio. San Antonio was down by as many as 25 points. If any of you have seen any of the replays or highlights, this is the one where Wembanyama was seen crying after the game. Just showing some emotion, which is nice to see. Kawhi Leonard was good for you, for Miggy. Kawhi had 30 points and 9 rebounds in this game. So some good fantasy numbers. Brook Lopez for the Clippers had 26 points. So them losing Zubac at the trade deadline, was probably okay. You know, Brook Lopez he's stepping up. Wembanyama, another stellar game this week. 27 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks. And finally, for San Antonio, Champagnie, he had 20 points and 9 rebounds. So,
it's pretty stellar numbers.
Yeah. This past Saturday, upset of the week.
Upset of the week. You're calling it right now?
Brooklyn Nets. 15th or 14th in the East. Beat the Detroit Pistons.
Okay, yeah.
107 to 105.
That's going to be hard to beat.
The Nets, going into that game, were on a 10-game losing streak. When I say upset of the week, I mean it. Detroit led by as many as 23 points in the third quarter. So, Brooklyn was down big near the end of the game. Michael Porter Jr., 30 points and 13 rebounds. Tobias Harris for Detroit, 18 points, 10 rebounds. Jalen Duren, 17 points, 14 rebounds. The only saving grace for Detroit in this loss is that they didn't have Cade Cunningham and they didn't have Thompson. I think it's the Amen Thompson. I think it's that brother. So they did not have their star player, but as a number 1 seed, you should not be losing to a bottom feeding team on any night. Philadelphia versus Atlanta. This was a key game because these are the two teams in the Eastern Conference who are most at risk of flip-flopping between the 6th seed and the 7th seed, which is the line for the play-ins. So these two teams are really wanting to win every game they can to get that guaranteed playoff spot and avoid having to play that play-in tournament. Atlanta won 125 to 116. Kelly Oubre had 24 points, Quentin Grimes with 26 points, and Tyrese Maxey with 31 points. Speaking of Maxey, he did go out late with an injury in that game, but it seems to have been a pretty minor injury. Star of the game goes to Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks. He had 35 points and 10 rebounds. So he's another one of those young guys from I think he got drafted last year. So he's really developing. He's really developing well. Currently, Philadelphia and Atlanta are one game different in the standings. They're the 8th and 9th seed. So not the 6th and 7th seed. So they're the 8th and 9th seed, both right in the play-in. But even then, the 8th and 9th seed kind of determines, if you're 7th or 8th, if you just win that first game, you just get your spot, right? But if you lose, you get another chance. If you're 9th or 10th, then you have to win your first play-in game to even have a chance of winning the next game to get it. So even that is a really important split. Moving on to Sunday, we have Boston against Cleveland. Boston 109, beating Cleveland's 98. Here's a name that any NBA fans out there probably haven't heard all year, at least in terms of being in the box score. Jason Tatum had 20 points, along with Jaylen Brown's 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. Something that I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the podcast is Jason Tatum coming back from an Achilles injury, which was not expected by anybody. Everybody expected him to be out the whole season. Mitchell for Cleveland had 3 points. Harden had 19 points and 10 assists. Cleveland was, however, missing Jared Allen. New York versus the Lakers. Lakers win 110-97. Luka had 35 points. Cat, again, even in the losing effort, 25 points, 16 rebounds. So any fantasy enjoyers out there who have Karl Anthony Towns on your team, big up week for him. Lakers were missing LeBron, however, but even so, Lakers led the game the whole way through. New York shot abysmally from 3-point. They were 8 of 34, 23.5%. You'd think after that many misses, you'd stop shooting for a while. But regardless, moving on. Detroit against Miami. Miami wins 121 to Detroit's 110. Cade Cunningham had 26 points, 10 assists. Bam Adebayo, who I will mention again later for a massive game that he had tonight. Bam Adebayo had 24 points, 9 rebounds. Tyler Herro had 25 points. This game marks Detroit's 4th loss in a row. So they are slumping and slumping hard. Houston versus San Antonio. San Antonio wins 145-120. Both Durant and Amen Thompson for Houston had 23 points each. Wembanyama had 29 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 4 blocks. Another big stat line for him. De'Aaron Fox had 20 points, 5 assists. Castle had 23 points, and Keldon Johnson had 20 points. So the Spurs had 4 20-point scorers in this game. So it's no wonder they got up to 145 points. Monday, which was yesterday, biggest game of the week in terms of importance and in terms of just star power. Denver versus OKC, Part 2. If any of you remember from the previous week, the big OKC-Denver game that had the brawls and whatnot, this game was highly anticipated. OKC pulled out the win with a 129-126 victory. This game was tied until 2.7 seconds left in the fourth quarter when SGA hit the game-winning three-pointer. Aaron Gordon for Denver had 23 points and 10 rebounds. Jokic, another triple-double, with 32 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists. Jamal Murray had a pretty solid game, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. However, he did have a poor shooting night, shooting 9 for 23 from the field and 0 of 4 from 3. Tim Hardaway Jr. for Denver did have 28 points off the bench. SGA, along with the game-winning three-pointer, had 35 points and a career-high 15 assists. And Jalen Williams, spelled Jaylen, not to get confused with OKC's Jalen Williams, Jalen, had 29 points and 13 rebounds. This was a highly impressive win for OKC, not just because it was, against a conference rival in Denver, but because they were missing Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Jalen Williams, 3 of their starters. And they were also missing Alex Caruso, one of their key bench players. So they were undermanned.
Next man up.
Yep, it was SGA and the next guy. And the next guy got the minutes, and they produced. Win's a win. New York versus the LA Clippers. The Clippers win 126 to 118. Karl Anthony Towns, another great game in a loss, unfortunately, had 35 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. A very efficient game, too, shooting 76.5% from the field, 75% from 3, and 75% from the free throw line. Jalen Brunson, 28 points, 8 assists. Kawhi Leonard, 29 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. And Derek Jones Jr. for the Clippers also had a very solid game. So 16 points, 7 rebounds, doesn't quite jump out at you. 3 steals and 2 blocks, however.
This is a defensive.
Yeah, he really showed out on the defensive end, which is good to see. He's got the athletic build for it too. And Mathurin for LA. Trade deadline acquisition, 28 points. He has been showing out. So that about does it for the scores from this past week for the NBA. I'll give it off to Miggy to go over some of the NFL free agency and trade deals, yeah?
Yeah, so as you know, NFL free agency opened up on Monday, and it opened up with a storm. Travis Etienne Jr. went to the Saints, 4 years, $52 million. Already there, that was a workhorse. Now you got the Saints. It's going to be an interesting way to see it. Malik Willis is going to the Dolphins for 3 years, 67.5 mil, which is pretty decent. Gives you about a 22.5. Pittman. This one kind of shocked me because Pittman was a workhorse in Indianapolis. He's wide receiver 1. He did well. He is going to the Steelers, 3 years, $59 million. There is a bunch of players. I don't have all the contract discussions, signings, everything. Some of them I just know the teams. Other I do know what they signed for. Kobe Bryant went to the Bears. Reed Blankenship went to Texan, and his teammate from Eagles was sad for that. Isaiah Likely went to the Giants. Jalen Phillips went to the Panthers. So Jalen Watson went to the Rams. Tyler Algieri went to Cardinals. Kenneth Pickett went to the Panthers. Kawhi Walker went to the Raiders. Kendrick Bourne went to the Cardinals. There's a lot of Kens here. Kenneth Gainwell went to the Bucks. Geno Smith went back to the Jets.
Oh, the return tour.
Yeah, exactly. Nakobe Dean went to the Raiders. Tyler Linderbaum went to the Raiders. There's a lot happening in Raiders right now. And here's a couple of big guys.
Yep.
So Romeo Dubes, 4 years, $80 million to the Packers. So average of 20 a year.
It's not bad.
Seahawks signed both Josh Jobs, their cornerback.
Yep.
And Rashid.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that one I know you wanted him back.
Yeah.
Benjamin St. Juste is 2 years, 10.5 at Packers.
Okay.
So that's a 5.25 average.
Not a bad deal.
Tua, that QB from Miami, they let him go. Falcons signed him for 1 year, $1.3 million.
So an experimental contract, really.
Either that or a backup contract. I'm not too sure what's happening with that one. Now, the one that also surprised me quite a bit is Isaiah Pachenko is going to the Lions. That, for me, was kind of left field. Another one was Mike Evans going to the 49ers for 3 years, $60.4 million. A lot of people thought he was going to stay with the Bucks. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were like, oh, it's 10% chance. Well, the 10% chance is here, and that 49er team is going to be dangerous.
Never say never. We said it earlier. That division is always so strong. And the 49ers were just a few games out of being in the Super Bowl themselves.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're upgrading is...
Now, the one that you hate the most.
Oh, yeah. No, well, I'm not surprised by this one.
Walker, no longer Seahawks.
Yeah.
Walker will be under new management from the Chiefs. For 3 years, $45 million. So he's making $15 million a year.
I mean, it's not a bad contract, but Super Bowl MVP and only $15 million seems a bit under.
We'll have to see how it turns out, and we can talk about this a little more later. That's mostly of the big plays. You have players that aren't really happy with how this is going. There's rumors that Bryce Hall is not happy that he got franchise tagged. There's still a lot of big names that are out and about. Now, we are recording this on March 10th. So by the time this is out, a lot of these big names might just
be signed. Start of free agency and end of free agency are always the high points. So.
Oh, yeah. And actually not in my notes, but I just remembered the Rams signed Tyler Higbee again. So that is a good tight end to have in your roster. Other than that, for now, I can just make some speculations that some teams are going to be dangerous. The Raiders are cooking something up. The Rams are upping their defense, which was a slight little weakness in their flaw last year. So they'll come up as a top 5 defensive team. So other than that, that's really all I have for the NFL.
All right. Before we get into the giant NHL news of this week, we are going to send you guys to a short little break. So we'll be right back.
You ready for this, Chris?
I'm ready.
NHL trade deadline, Friday, March 6th. There is, since our last podcast, 30 plus trades. So, we're going to be talking about that. But I want to start with the 4 games that I mentioned, on top of a little bit of spicy flavor on that. Mammoth and Capital games. Mammoth won 3-2. That was big. Mammoth needs to keep winning to make sure that they make that playoff. It is a somewhat tightly contested wild card over there. So they need to keep the wins. Stars Avalanche, I mean, you both know, these were 2 big dog teams. Avalanche won 5-4 in shootouts. So that was a tight game. Top team against top team. Both teams did considerably get 1 point. So it does help the Stars get a little closer to the Avalanche, but it's not really the outcome they wanted, right? You want the full 2 points. Bruins and Capitals. That's a battle for the wild card in the Eastern Conference. Bruins won, creating a little bit more space between them, the two. Oilers and Vegas, that was a battle of the Pacific. They had a 4-point difference. Oilers won, bringing it to a little bit closer to Vegas. So that is also, for being the worst division this year, a tightly contested division. So we'll have to see. And on top of that, and we will be talking about this game later because
I'm excited.
It was a nasty game. The Tampa versus Buffalo game that finished 8-7. And to put Buffalo as the leader of the Atlantic Division. That was an insane game. I got no words for it. We're just going to...
We'll leave our words for later.
Yeah. Now, we're going to be going on a trip here. So, we're going to start, and these are in order of what happened. So, it goes all the way back to March 3rd. There's a lot here. So, Michael McCurran, a forward from Nashville, gets traded to Minnesota for a 2028 second-round pick. Now, for Minnesota, that gives them a little bit more depth, which Minnesota didn't really need. But, hey, they got it. So, we'll just have to watch out for Minnesota because they are insane. McCarron is 6'6".
Makes me look short.
This year, he has 60 block shots and 153 hits.
At what point do we just put goalie pads on him and tell him to just stand in front of the net?
Yeah, he's a big guy. He blocks shots and he's physical. Nashville also did another trade that same day, sending Colt Smith, a forward, to Vegas. In return, they got a 2028 third-round pick and a defenseman by the name of Christopher Seedorf. Now, Seedorf has 4 assists in 38 AHL games. But he's at plus 10, I think. So, he is reliable, but he's not... He seems to be more of a lockdown defensive guy. Mm-hmm. Smith is a good penalty killer and brings that slight physicality that Vegas always brings to the table. So, in my opinion, he'll fit right in. Now, this one might hurt you a little bit. Any Vancouver trade is going to hurt you a little bit because you're a big Vancouver fan over here. Tyler Myers went to Dallas. Dallas needed a right-hand defenseman. They got their right-hand defenseman with him. And he's big.
Oh, yeah.
He's 6'8". The average right now for the blue line of Stars is 6'4", 211 pounds. Big boys. Vancouver receives a 2027 second-round pick and a 2029 fourth-round pick. You're giving me that look of you kind of wanted more for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's my team. I'm always gonna want more. It's just draft picks later down the line are always so hard to gauge.
Yeah.
So
Nashville again made another trade. They were busy. They got a 2027 fifth-round pick, and in return, Colorado received Nick Blackenberg, a defenseman, to add even more depth to their D-line. Because, Brett Burns, McCarr, Taze, Mason.
Oh, yeah. You definitely need more. I mean, those guys, they're not, it's not like they're top in the league or anything. Like, I don't know.
Now, this one kind of took me out not for where it landed, but for how much Utah paid for it.
Okay.
Utah and Calgary struck a trade. Utah received Mackenzie Weegar. Solid defenseman. He's on the penalty kill. He's on the power play. Physical, reliable. He's there. Adds depth to Utah. Brings production. Like, he's one of the defensemen you want. Calgary got a forward of the name of Jonathan Castagna and Ollie Mata, which is a defenseman.
Yeah.
They also gave 3 2026 second-round picks.
Okay. That's very high value. That's the immediate draft coming up.
That's 3 picks in that round. So, Utah wanted them.
Yeah, that's a lot to give up for
now
one player.
The 2 other players is good players for that rebuild in Calgary. We all know it's going. Calgary and Vancouver are in the same boat right now. Edmonton and Chicago for their second trade during this trade deadline kind of area right now.
Trade deadline fiasco.
Yeah. Chicago traded Jason Dickerson, which is a forward, as well as another forward, Colton Duck. Those two have been talked a lot during the trade deadline. A lot of rumors of where to go, and Edmonton was always the front runner. They both add immense physicality as well as depth, which, let's be honest, Edmonton has been struggling the last couple of years. That's why they can't get over the last little hump of winning the Stanley Cup, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, Edmonton's been the most top-heavy team for years.
So, and they're not that expensive. So, we'll have to see. But in return, Chicago got a conditional 2027 first-round pick and forward Andrew Mangiapane. Now, Andrew Mangiapane used to play with the Capitals, and then he got flipped to Calgary, and it has not Calgary, Edmonton. Sorry, Calgary, don't kill me. This is a clean slate for Mangiapane. He needs a clean slate. It hasn't been working for Edmonton. He was doing well in Capitals.
Yep.
So he needs a clean slate, and hopefully Chicago can be a good spot with him, with Bedard and all those guys. Now, Washington and Vegas struck a deal for Nick Dowd. Now, a lot of people were looking for him. He is a good forward. He's reliable. He's a little physical, and he has a good shot. In return, Washington got a 2027 third-round pick and a 2029 second-round pick and a goalie of the name of Jesper Vikman. So this screams to me, with another trade that we're going to talk down the line, that they're getting ready for post-Ovi era.
Yeah.
Like, they know it's coming down shortly. They want to get picks and prospects to get ready to replace the monster Ovechkin has been. Colorado again, another deal. Like, they needed to get any better. Nikola Raw, forward. Everybody was looking at him. I had reports to up to 7 teams were looking into this guy. He's a good goal scorer. He has playoff experience. He won with Vegas Knights. He's the kind of guy you want. In return, Toronto got a conditional 2027 first-round pick and a conditional 2026 fifth-round pick. So, I personally feel he's slightly worth more than that, but depending on what Colorado wins, if they win the Cup, it'll get better picks, depending the number of rounds they win as well. So,
I mean, if that first round pick turns out, that's really good. A conditional 5th round is a little weird, though.
That usually gets switched to a third.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. Minnesota, again, another that didn't need any more D, got Jeff Petrie. As solid as a D-man as you can get. And Florida got conditional 2026 7th round pick.
You know, I don't know how far you are through these trades, Miggy, but all this is screaming to me is the top teams are trying to get stronger, and any team that even remotely considers themselves out of the championship race are just kind of selling what they can.
Yeah, it was a buyer's market.
Yeah.
Now, Vancouver make a trade with San Jose Sharks. They switched defensemen. So, San Jose received Jet Wu. Well, he got drafted a couple years ago. And Vancouver received Jack Thompson. Now, both defensemen haven't seen a lot of
ice time.
Yeah, ice time. So it's a little hard to see. Is this player switching? Maybe a change of scenery will do him well. We'll have to see and keep an eye on those two. Dallas receives Michael Bunting, another big physical guy, deep guy, has a good shot, has decent hockey IQ, and Nashville got a 2026 third-round pick. Nashville has been racking in the draft picks. Ottawa. Now, Ottawa received Warren Foegele and a conditional 2026 third-round pick. And in return, LA received a 2026 second-round pick and a conditional 2026 third-round pick. So they kind of swapped their third-round picks.
Yeah.
I don't know what the conditions are on that. Maybe, like, if Ottawa makes it further, their third round is lowered to a fourth, and LA's went up to a second. But LA's kind of confusing me at the same times, because at one point they're like, oh yeah, we're buyers because we have Panarin, and then they're selling Foegele for picks, which is initiating that they're sellers, but then they'll go back and get someone else. So slightly confusing, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe it's all part of the LA's plan to fool everybody. This one kind of took me off field, like right to the left.
Mm-hmm.
David Perron is going back to Detroit for a conditional 2026 fourth-round pick.
It's a return tour?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of return tours. I think there's like 3 guys going back to teams that they used to.
A lot of running it back.
But. Yeah. Columbus receives Connor Garland, which you know him all too well. Vancouver receives a 2026 third-round pick and a 2028 second-round pick.
That's not actually terrible returns.
Yeah. Now, this is a big trade for a team who is a absolute wagon this year. And no one saw it coming. Buffalo made a trade with Winnipeg. Buffalo received Logan Stanley and Luke Shen, 2 defensemen. I don't know what to say about that team anymore. You got Dahlin, you got Power, you got Byram. Now you got Luke Shen and Logan Stanley. You got Samuelson. That is an impressive blue line. In return, though, Winnipeg received Isak Rosen, is a forward prospect. Jacob Brinson, which is another prospect, but a defenseman. A 2027 second-round pick and a conditional 2026 fourth-round pick, depending on how far the Buffalo Sabres make it in the playoffs.
I mean, at the rate they're going, they might make it far.
Yeah. Now, Anaheim and Capitals. This one, I couldn't even have dreamed of it if I was playing NHL on the Xbox.
I think this is the trade that hurts just fans of the NHL.
After 17 years as a Capital, John Carlson, who has a lot of records for defensemen for the Capitals, is getting traded to Anaheim for a conditional 2026 first-round pick and a 2027 third-round pick, and that's it. I understand you're getting ready for the post-Ovi era, but in my opinion, you never trade your star player's best friend.
Well, no, they're a star player because they have, that mental and emotional crutch from, whatever other player is there, whether it be a best friend or family member. So, even like you said, even preparing for the post-Ovi era, that's just not a lot of return.
Yeah. Now, Buffalo also got Sam Carrick from New York Rangers. Rangers received a 2026 third-round pick and a 2026 sixth-round pick. So he's more of a middle-of-the-pack guy. You can be on your second line, can be on your third line, can be on your fourth line. Not really a first-line guy, but he still needs to develop. So he might turn into one. Boston and Philly, they just did a player swap. Alex Gendron and Massimo Rizzo is going to Boston, and Philly's getting Brent Harrison and defenseman Jack Edwards. Haven't heard a lot about the 4 of them. I'm guessing they're just all prospects. Both sides saw something. We'll see how that turns out. Now, Minnesota again. Like, they needed to get any better, honestly. Minnesota receives Bobby Brink. He's a forward. He's quick. He's speedy. He's good with his hands. He has a nice shot. Philly receives David Yerrick, which Philly needs help defensively. All they have right now is Drysdale and Sanheim. They need help, and as much as Minnesota, I feel, slightly won this trade, in the long run, Philly is going to look back at this trade and be like, look, this was the trade that helped us defensively, and this is the trade that helped us get more stable defensively.
So would you consider this one of the rare win-win trades?
I would consider 60-40.
Okay.
So, yes, there's a winner, but the loser's not far behind.
Yeah.
It's not one of those trades where you're like, huh? Mm-hmm. Now, I hate trades like these. I will tell you every single time I see one, I hate these. Chicago, Minnesota did a trade for Nick Foligno. Now, the Foligno brothers are reassembled. They're both playing in Minnesota. Chicago got future considerations.
So they traded away a player for nothing guaranteed.
For nothing guaranteed as of now. But hey, Minnesota and LA later made a trade. LA received Vinny Hinostroza, which Minnesota is now future considerations as well. I went through this list and I was like, hey, no future consideration. And then I got hit with 2 back to back. I was not really happy reading that, but it is what it is.
It just doesn't make sense to me as a manager to be making these sort of business deal trades and to go, here, you can have this.
And we'll talk later.
Yeah, we'll talk later. But you hold on to my stuff for now.
LA then proceeded to make another pick, receiving a 2028 second-round pick and giving Tampa Bay Corey Perry back. Now, there is a lot of little memes going around that they're going to go back to the Stanley Cup playoffs and lose. Because Corey Perry won 1 with the Ducks, and since then, just can't seem to win a playoff game.
He makes it there. He makes it, though.
Pittsburgh made a trade with Detroit. Detroit received a 2026 third-round pick, and the Pittsburgh received Elmer Soderblom, which is a defenseman. Pittsburgh, again, they're in the same spot as Capitals. They are going to be kind of post-Crosby, Malkin, Letang era, which is kind of bigger than Ovi. Ovi, you got to replace 1 player. Pittsburgh, you're like up to 3 right now, which is a little bit on the yeesh.
That's a lot of pairs of very big skates.
Yeah. New York Rangers and Chicago traded a player for a player. Derek Poulois is a forward, and Aiden Thompson also a forward, both prospects in their regular rights. We'd have to see how that goes. Philly and Carolina.
Yeah. Just combine the Hurricanes and the Flames real quick.
Yeah, I had something stuck in my throat for a second there. So
it wasn't me, I swear.
God. Philly and Carolina did a trade. Philly received a conditional 2027 7th-round pick, and Carolina received the Rock'em Sock'em guy, Nick Delorier. He is known to be physical. He is known to drop the gloves, and he is known to not take anything from anybody. Is he getting old? Yes. Will he still drop the gloves? If your name's not Jack Eye, yes.
Well, I mean, you can be old and still throw a good haymaker. You just have the experience to back it up and know where to swing it.
Exactly. Vancouver again, another trade with Boston. They traded away Lucas Ritchell, their forward prospect. He played a couple of games. He didn't look too bad. They traded him away for a 2026 6th-round pick. St. Louis and Detroit made a trade. This one was pretty interesting. I didn't think he would end up in Detroit, but here we are. Justin Falk ended up in Detroit. St. Louis received a pretty bag for him. He received a 2026 first-round pick as well as a 2026 third-round pick. They also received defenseman Justin Hull, which he's a top prospect in their pool, and forward Dmitry Buchnevnikov. I even studied that one before I said it, and
It only took you 1.5 tries.
1.5. Yeah, I'll take it, So I wasn't expecting him to go to Detroit. After looking at this, it is a nice fit, but we'll have to see how that develops because he does bring... He's an older guy, so we can say he brings the wisdom, right? He's going to help the younger guys get to where they have to be.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have we seen young teams falter because they don't have veteran experience?
Exactly. So. San Jose and Washington did a trade. Washington received Timothy Lindgren, a defenseman. San Jose received a 2026 4th-round pick. Buffalo and Winnipeg did another trade. That's Tanner Pearson going to the Sabres, as well as Winnipeg receiving a 2026 7th-round pick. Another big trade from St. Louis. They traded with New York Islanders, receiving Jonathan Drouin, a forward, a prospect goalie Marcus Gidloff, a 2027 first-round and third-round pick. And for all of that, New York Islanders received forward Brady Shen. Now, I remember last podcast, me and you mentioned him just a little bit. He is an all-around guy. He is a guy you want to have on your team. He is a leader. He is a locker room guy. He's the glue guy. Calgary did a massive trade with Nazem Kadri. Send him back to Colorado. Colorado also received a 2027 fourth-round pick. And with all of that, Colorado sent a conditional 2027 second-round pick, a 2028 conditional first-round pick, Maximilian Curran, which is a top prospect in their pool, and Victor Olofsson, who has been playing in the league for many years and is a very solid player. Anaheim and Calgary as well did another trade, sending Calgary Ryan Strome and Anaheim a 2027 7th-round pick. Washington and Vancouver. You see Vancouver getting a lot of picks here, so it might be a good season for you next year. Maybe they'll trade a couple of picks in the offseason and get guys they need.
If there's a season to sell, it's this season. They are the only team below 50 points.
Yeah, fair. Washington receives David Kempf, is a forward, as you probably know. And Vancouver receives a 2026 6th-round pick. Washington, as well, receives a forward, Wyatt Bonginvani, and flips Graham Clark to Ottawa, which he is as well a top prospect as Wyatt is. Now, the New York Islander receives from Calgary Jacob Battaglia, and Calgary receives Brennan Ottoman, which, again, both in the AHL, both in their respectful talents.
Yeah. Just another prospect trade.
Exactly. Player for player, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Bobby McCann goes to Seattle. Toronto receives a 2026 4th-round pick with a conditional 2027 2nd-round pick. And now the trade that kind of made me a little mad. LA already has one of the best penalty killers there is in Yoel Armia. And now they're going to get another good penalty killer in Scott Lawton. I think the two have led the league in shorthanded goals for the last 3 years. And Toronto, all they got, to my surprise, is a conditional 2026 3rd-round pick. That is it.
So a non-guaranteed 3rd-round pick for a top 2 penalty killer.
It's at least a 3rd. Depending on how well LA does in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying earlier why I was confused to the Kings. They were like, oh yeah, we're buyers, but now we're sellers. But now we're back to buyers. But we don't really know. So they're still in the playoff race. So it's going to be interesting to see how LA goes.
Yeah, I guess the Kings are tied in points for the second wildcard spot in the West. So yeah, they're in the picture. So, theoretically, if the Kings have two of the highest shorthanded goal scoring players, and the Avalanche have the worst power play in the league, do we just put the Kings and Avs in a game and just put the Avs on the power play the whole game and just see what happens?
The problem with the Avs power play is that they just pass.
Yeah.
They try to find the perfect play, and that's their kryptonite. Yeah. Now, before we go to the WBC, I just want to run the game from the PWHL last week. Yep. There was only one. The Sirens versus the Charge. That's important because it declares the 4 spot, which the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, is only the top 4 teams since the league is so small.
Yeah.
The Sirens demolished the Charge 6-2. The Sirens are getting up and in the playoffs. They were already in, but now they're creating that separation between them and the Charge. And I don't think they'll catch up to the top 3 teams because the top 3 teams are pretty good and they keep switching on each other.
Yeah.
But the Sirens need to keep winning so that the Charge doesn't catch up to them.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're nearing the end of their season at this point, too, sort of. Yeah. So, and any game that determines seeding is going to be important. Now,
the league top point getter is Kristina Kotukova. I'm deeply sorry if I said that wrong. She has 11 goals and 1 assist. She's also the goal scorer. She is the goal leader. Sorry, the point leader is Taylor Heiss with 4 goals and 15 assists. The top goalie is Anne-Renée Desbiens from the Montreal Victoires, with a .958 save percentage and a 1.06 goal against average. She is on fire. She is a big part to why Montreal is winning. And as long as she is top notch, Montreal will make the playoffs, no problem. So with all of that we just spent about half an hour talking about hockey trades and scores and everything, I'm gonna pass it to you.
Yeah, we're gonna let Miggy go get his inhaler after all that yapping you just did. That was pretty good. So before we go on to our more discussion segment of the podcast, just going to quickly go over the WBC standings currently. So in Pool A, we have Puerto Rico in first. Now, before tonight, they were 3-0. As of recording this podcast, however, Canada did beat Puerto Rico in their game tonight.
Let's go, boys!
So that puts Puerto Rico at 3-1, bumps Canada up to 2-1, Cuba 2-1, and then Colombia and Panama both at 1-3.
I wonder which game is left.
Yeah, well, the last game for Pool A is Canada versus Cuba. That game determines first, second, and third in the group.
Because since Canada beat Puerto Rico, if we win, we go to first.
Yes. If Canada beats Cuba tomorrow, it's Canada first, Puerto Rico second, Cuba third. If Cuba wins, it's Puerto Rico first, Cuba second, Canada third.
All right. So it's an important game tomorrow.
Big game tomorrow. Pool B is the USA at the top at 3-1 as of tonight.
Who beat that powerhouse?
Italy.
Huh?
Italy beats the US 8-6.
Fucking tortellini. Why are they putting in that damn garlic bread?
The country that refuses to break spaghetti noodles beat the powerhouse USA.
They won't break spaghetti noodles, but they'll break baseball bats.
Absolutely. So that drops the USA to 3-1 and bumps Italy up to 3-0. And with the tiebreaker, I don't think it matters whether or not Italy wins their last game, because the worst they can do is 3-1. But they have the tiebreaker of the US, which means that with Italy's win, I'm pretty sure Italy clinches the first seed in Pool B. Mexico at 2-1, Great Britain at 1-3, and Brazil at 0-4. So Pool B is with the games tonight. Pool B and Pool A are looking kind of interesting. Pool C, Japan first, 4-0.
Surprise there.
Yeah, no kidding. Republic of Korea, Australia, and Chinese Taipei all 2-2. So we'll have to see what the tiebreakers are for that. And then Czechia rounding up Pool C with a record of 0-4. Finally, Pool D. This is an interesting one. The top two teams, Dominican Republic and Venezuela, both 3-0.
And let me guess, they're the last matchup.
Yep, they play against each other tomorrow. They're both guaranteed spots in the quarterfinals. It is just who gets the first and second seed in Pool D. Israel in third with a record of 2-2. Netherlands 1-3, and Nicaragua 0-4. WBC is close. It has been a very entertaining and high energy one. You can see it in the players. This means something to them.
And I saw too that there's a record for Grand Slams in the WBC this time, because the record was 5 and we already have 5.
Yeah, I think before this WBC there were 0 game-winning home runs. I think there's at least 2 or 3 this year already.
Okay.
So, But that does it for our analytical section. So our numbers nerds, we have done our due diligence for you. We will send you guys to break before we get to our more open mic and opinionated section. And welcome back, listeners. If you are still with us. Thank goodness I didn't hit record too soon, because the two not gentlemen sitting at the table with me...
It's not my fault it's after hours.
He's got a fair point. It's past 10.
Yeah, it's nearly Jay's bedtime. Anyways, this is our...
my bedtime?
Yes, your bedtime!
I should be already sleeping by now, honestly.
Yeah, he's the grandpa here. He's the youngest, but he's the grandpa. Anyways, this is our open mic section. So this is where we get to complain about sports. Jason Tatum returning from an Achilles injury. What?
Yeah, that one kind of makes no sense. Aren't those supposed to be like 8 to 12 months, like a year off?
Like I know they're professional athletes. I know they get day of care, and their job is recovery. But this man tore half his leg off, essentially. There is no support, and this Achilles injury was end of last season. He was supposed to be out the whole year, and you're telling me he comes back with 20 games left? And not just back, not just, oh, look, I'm on the bench in not street clothes. No, this man played 2 games this week.
20 points.
20 points. He had 15 points in his first game back and 20 in his second. He is back at 85% from an Achilles injury. Good on him. I'm proud of it. Great. I love to see, professional sports players and sports players of any level getting back to their sport after injury. I have surgery in a month for an ACL injury, and I am expected to be out of any sport for at least 14 months. And you want to tell me that he goes, "Oop, my Achilles tore in half, but I'm back in 8 months playing top-level NBA basketball."
In his defense, you don't have an ACL.
Look, man, I had one. It tore off. Okay? I'm walking. Yes, but seriously, though, how... I am so heated. Again, great form. Proud of the guy.
Heated? You're red as a fucking tomato.
I have been stressing about my own ACL for weeks. I have nightmares of the surgery. But I turn around and the first thing I see in the midweek news is, oh yeah, Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics comes back and puts up 15 points in 20 minutes. I'm sorry, what? Speaking of injuries, can NBA players stop getting injured? In my notes, I wanted to list out all of the major injuries and big players missing time and whatnot. I looked at ESPN's injury tracker. There are so many injuries, of sore thumb to illness to broken pelvis. And that's not actually on the list. But my point being, my point is
that's a whole different kind of poster done.
He got postered and crushed. Hey, we have so much sports science and so much medical teams and money invested in this stuff that the amount of injuries that players are going through is starting to really tick me off, because it's constantly, oh, this person is doubtful, or oh, this person is missing a second game with a sore thumbnail. So the NBA needs to figure something out. Are the players just reckless? Are the players
pussies?
Yeah, I wanted to use a nicer word, but yes. Or what is going on that there are so many injuries?
See, as a hockey fan, they play with broken foots and broken collarbones.
You also wear knight's armor.
Yeah, but we also use knives on our feet.
Yes.
So
that very rarely get any higher than ice level.
I'm just gonna shut up as a football fan. Those fuckers die for everything.
For our North American listeners, he means soccer.
I'm sorry, I'm not correcting myself.
Oh no, I will correct you for you. My point being,
you can see that he's red hot if he's correcting you on that.
My point being is, I love basketball debates. I really, really do. But what is this, like, image of weakness that is coming from this abundance of injuries? Like, it's really getting to me, as you can probably tell. Now, for the players that are actually hurt and actually need to recover, I wish the best for them. I really do. But I shouldn't be seeing a webpage where I have to scroll for 20 seconds just to go through all of the injury lists for all of the teams. Like, these players are getting paid so much. They should be available all the time. Again, unless they snap their leg in half or anything else. But regardless. So that's my injury rant. Hot is something, it's not here right now, but there are a few teams in the NBA that are really hot right now. OKC and San Antonio are 9-1 in their last 10 games. So, remind me, Mickey, in the NHL, which conference is the strongest, usually?
Atlantic is the tightest.
No, that's the division. I mean conference, like East or West.
It depends the year. This year, strong-wise,
it's probably the West, right? Like Avs, Dallas.
The top three teams of the West are just better than the Eastern team. As a whole, the Eastern team is a better conference. Yeah. But the Western have the three better teams.
They're top better. But, like, generally speaking, like, the NHL can go back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Season, right?
Yeah.
The NBA is so dominated by the Western Conference right now. And it has been a case for years. Years and years and years. So, the top of the West, OKC and San Antonio, both 9-1. OKC, 6-game winning streak. On fire with Shea's return. Your favorite team, Minnesota Timberwolves, 8-2 in their last 10 games. They are currently third in the West.
Ant-Man is on a tear.
When I said that there was a non-0% chance that he could make a claim for that MVP race, I meant it. It's paying dividends. Out east, Boston Celtics, with the return of Jason Tatum, 8-2 in their last 10. 8-2. And with Detroit slumping on a four-game loss streak, we could see a shift. Miami, 8-2, middle of the Eastern Conference. However,
Miami, like the Bulls?
No, the Heat.
Oh.
Chicago Bulls, you dumb nut.
Damn, I really want my hot take from 2 episodes ago.
No, they're in like 12th in the East.
You never know.
They are. I would still put money on them just not making even the play-ins. I like your attempted spice, but your spice tolerance ain't quite that high just yet, bud. Speaking of Miami, Bam Adebayo.
I'm sorry, that's a name?
That
not only is
not a sound effect.
Okay, remind me, Jay. You're the smart one here. What is the word we use for sound effects in comic books? Like onomatopoeia or something? Onomatopoeia. That's Bam Adebayo's nickname. No, straight up. That is his like NBA professional nickname is like Bam the onomatopoeia Adebayo.
He's just shooting. Swish.
Like it's
like, I'm sorry, it just sounds like bam, attaboy.
Bam.
Well, I mean, the thing is that he's pretty good at the slam dunking, if you know what I mean. So, really, it's pretty accurate. Regardless, tonight he set the second highest single player score with 83 points against the Washington Wizards.
Sorry?
He scored 83 points on his own.
Yep, forfeit.
Where was the rest of his team? Just passing him the ball?
I mean, maybe.
What was the other team's coach doing and not throwing in the towel?
Well, here's the thing. They didn't throw in the towel. There's a video of them triple teaming him in the backcourt. He was on 81 points, which, mind you, was the previous second highest score by Kobe Bryant back from like 2006, right?
Yeah.
So he had tied it with like 2 minutes left or whatever. So of course Miami's like winning by like 20 some at this point. So they give him the ball to bring it up. They triple team the guy in the backcourt. He hasn't even crossed half.
Ruthless.
No, they were just like, no, we gotta lose this game, but we will not be disrespectful. And then he went to the free throw line and got both free throws anyways for 83 points. They fouled him. They tried so hard to not give him a chance, and yet they fouled him. This man, 83 points, 9 rebounds, 20 of 43 from the field, 7 of 22 from 3. He went 36 for 43 from the free throw line. 36 free throws.
Yeah.
That's more than most teams attempt on
Yeah.
a single night. And you want to tell me he made... I think that is the record for most free throws made in a game by a single player. I'd have to double check that. But I think that is actually...
I mean, that would have to mean he got fouled 18 times.
Just on makes alone.
He yeah.
shot 43 times.
Ridiculous.
Which, at minimum, means that he got fouled 22 times. 21 regular fouls and 1 and 1. At minimum,
he got fouled 22 times
on shot attempts. I know Washington's bad, but damn.
Oh,
so
that team's getting a spank.
They basically gave him the win.
Well, I mean, Miami won 150 to 129. It was not a defensive game until they triple teamed him in the backcourt. Anyways,
Didn't do that in the beginning though. So
yeah, well, I didn't know he was going to go for 83 points. So Bam Adebayo, hot. Miami, slightly less hot, still 82, 8-2. Sorry. Atlanta Hawks on a 6-game winning streak. They are fighting for that play-in spot. Los Angeles Clippers are above 500. Kawhi Leonard has brought that team from the jaws of oblivion. And lastly, for just hot teams, Charlotte Hornets, they are 6-4 in their last 10 games. They're on a 2-game loss streak, but they were briefly above 500 for the first time this season. So, props to them. That's who's hot. Guess who's not? Detroit. 4-game loss streak as the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. What the hell is happening? The East is so weak. That is getting upset and just losing. And Cade Cunningham, an MVP frontrunner, and he's just not quite performing. So they're not doing well. Toronto is 5-5 in the last 10, and a number that I said earlier in the recording. They have a 4-10 divisional record, which, get this, I think it is the top 10 teams in the Eastern Conference all have positive divisional records, except for the Toronto Raptors. All of the other 10 playoff teams in the Eastern Conference have winning records against their closest competition other than the Toronto Raptors. Which means that the Toronto Raptors are winning games, against the weaker teams as they should, but they're not winning like the important contested games. And as a Toronto fan, that makes me really stressed for the playoffs, because those are the teams that they're going to see. So I am worried.
It's fine. They're just sandbagging.
No, they're just looking weak until playoff times comes. Philadelphia is also slumping. They are 4-6 in their last 10. The Denver Nuggets are 4-6 in their last 10. What do you mean? Denver was 3rd in the West like a week and a half ago. They were fighting, San Antonio and OKC to get into that top 3, and now they're 6th. They are, mind you, they've been playing like OKC and other top teams and whatnot, so like it's understandable, but still, like they are struggling.
I think he's gone mad.
Right?
If only I was mad.
All right, the Joker's awakened. Leave. You can hear me skittering away.
Get your rolling chair back here. I'm not done with you. NBA standings, I also want to quickly just go over. So, the NBA. Rather, every professional sports league, generally speaking, all teams are in contention for playoffs until, the last 5 to 10-ish games. Ish. Right? Like, give or take the absolute bottom feeders.
Like Vancouver.
You know what, Miggy?
You know he'll punch you. He's that riled up.
You are within range. But generally speaking, playoffs are always highly contested until closest to the end. Now, the NBA is close to the end, but not that close. We've still got 20-ish games left. However, it is almost a foregone conclusion that the top 10 teams in both conferences have already been decided. Like, the bottom 5 teams in both conferences are so bad and so far behind that you might as well just start the playoffs today.
So there's minimal chances of an upset or an upbringing for a team.
Yeah, look, like, if you are 11th through 15th in either the East or the West, you are currently so many games behind that barring just absolute disasters and, like, tanking, you're just out of the playoffs anyways. Like, in the East, you can split the standings like this. You got the Pistons in first. You got the Celtics in second, 3.5 games behind them. You have the Knicks and Cavaliers, third and fourth. The Knicks are 2.5 games behind the Celtics. The Cavs are half a game behind the Knicks. So those who can kind of be grouped together. Then you go from the 5th seed in the East through to the 9th seed in the East. Those 5 seeds are split by 2.5 games. The difference between those 5 teams is smaller than the difference between first and second in the East. And then after that, you have the Hornets in 10th that are 2 games behind that. So between the Pistons and the Hornets in 10th, you have 14.5 games difference. Do you want to take a wild guess at how far behind 11th is from the 10th seed right now? I know you're not a basketball guy, just random number, right?
6.5.
Close. 5.5. Nope. 4.5. Sorry. My math is awful. There is more of a difference between 11th and 10th than there is from 10th to 5th. And out west, it's almost the exact same story. You've got the Thunder in first. You've got the Spurs, 2.5 games behind them. You have the Rockets, who are 7.5 games behind the Spurs for second. So they're 10 games behind the Thunder. But then from 3rd all the way through 7th is split by 2.5 games. So again, really close. Then you have a really big gap between 7th and 8th. You have a gap of 5.5 games there. 8th and 9th, half a game between them. 10th, a game and a half behind 9th. 11th, 7 games behind 10th. We can just start the playoffs today, boys. We don't need to drag this out, because if we drag this out anymore, the Raptors are going to keep falling, and I'm going to be even more sad. We'll just start the playoffs today. That would be great. That'd be wonderful. They could crash out a lot less. This coming week, there are a few games that I personally am going to be trying to watch, just because I think they're big games. And so, Tuesday, which is today, so it's probably a game that I've already missed, so I'm going to have to take a look at the highlights. Boston versus San Antonio. Tomorrow, Wednesday. By the time this podcast comes out, the game will already be done, so unfortunately for you listeners out there, I will not be in time to tell you to watch this game, so hopefully you do. Houston, Denver on Wednesday. Thursday, so depending on when you listen to to this episode when it comes out. You might be in time for these games. Denver versus San Antonio, Boston versus OKC. Lots of top teams. Friday, there are a few games. They're nothing games. Don't worry. Saturday, Denver versus the Lakers. Sunday, we have Minnesota versus OKC. Top of the West clash. If Miggy and I have time, I think we're going to watch that. As well on Sunday, Detroit versus Toronto. So our two favorite teams are going against
some top dogs.
Well, the number one teams in their respective conferences. So we are either going to be very sad, only slightly sad, or very happy by the time those two games end on Sunday.
I'm going to be spinning and doing push-ups. You're going to be sitting because your knee's messed up.
Hey, I'm not that much of a cripple. Not yet. And Monday, we have the Lakers and Houston. So, before I let Miggy rant about some NFL and hockey news, I do want to let you all know March Madness starts this coming week. Some big days. Selection Sunday, which is the day when all of the teams that are actually going to partake in the tournament get announced, is this Sunday, so March 15th. At 6 p.m. Eastern, the men's teams will be announced, and at 8 p.m. Eastern, the women's teams will be announced. First four. So for those of you out there, for the tournament, for both sides, men and women, what happens is they select 68 teams. For all intents and purposes, the bottom 8 teams of those 68 will do 4 single elimination games to fight for the 4 final spots in the 64-team bracket. So that's what first four is. First four is those 4 single elim games to finalize the bracket. For the men's, that is happening March 17th and 18th. For the women's, 18th and 19th. The first round of the tournament for the men's is March 19th through 20th, and for the women's is the 20th through the 21st. Second round, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4. Those will happen in the coming weeks. I will mention those dates next week.
Are these all single elimination
games? Yes, everything is single elim. So it is win or go home. There are no second chances. But the big date, championship games. Women's March Madness NCAA Championship, April 5th. Men's will be on April 6th. So, get your brackets ready. I know for a fact that this coming Sunday, once those teams are announced, I will be making my bracket. I will post them on our Instagram for all of your viewing pleasure. But do make sure to tune in to the start of what is said to be a maddening March. So, that's me and my rant about basketball. Did you, you look like you want to say some things over there, Miggy.
So, with Travis Etienne Jr. signing with the Saints, what are they going to do with Kamara? Because
second string?
There is a lot. I know a couple of Saints fans, and he hasn't been there the last couple of years. So with him there, are they going to put him second string? Or are they going to put him on the move? I kind of feel like signing Etienne is kind of a
Yeah, it's a sign. It's a sign.
It's kind of
something's moving.
Yeah, jab to Kamara. A lot of teams will probably like having him. He's a workhorse, but we'll see how he is. Now, here's one thing I do not understand.
And you don't understand a lot of things.
Nah, I tend to try to stay up with my sports. Now, Eagles had a good year last year. They made it to the playoffs. So why are they cleaning house?
Maybe a bunch of contracts are ending?
They're not signing anybody.
Are they just... Yeah, they're just selling for picks, right?
No.
No.
This is just free agency. They're not signing any of their old guys.
Oh, so they're just losing everybody, not retaining anything.
Yeah.
Oh.
It makes no sense personally. I feel like they could at least kept 2 of the guys that they got rid of. I think they've gotten rid of 5 of their O-line /D fence guys.
Yeah.
So now they have a hole there. The Raiders are spending like there's no tomorrow. I called out like 4 Raider things earlier, like Tyler Lindbaum, Dean, Walker. I'm sure there's another one somewhere in here. They're just spending. They've been the team that spend the most. They had Max Crosby at one point. He failed his physical.
It was for his knee, right?
Yeah. Ravens didn't want to pay for his rehab, so he's getting sent back to the Raiders. Now, I did find something funny during our break. And there is a fan that said if Baltimore trades for Max Crosby, he shaved his head. Baltimore traded for Max Crosby. He shaved his head. And then today, on March 10th, Max Crosby got refused and got sent back to the Raiders. And now he's like, I got a shaved head and no Crosby.
Wear a wig, bud. Wear a wig. That's incredible.
I know I'm talking football right now, but if we were NHL, boys, that's how it is to be a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
I feel like, in my heart of hearts, I want to believe they did it just to troll this single fan.
Oh, they got to. Like, imagine being a hardcore fan, being like, I want this guy so bad, I'm going to shave my head. Finally gets it, and the guy had nice, like, long hair. Shaves his head, and then is like, oh, failed his physical, we don't want to pay for his rehab for his knee, we'll send him back to the Raiders. Now you're sitting there looking like a dumbass. Just like,
Well, see, here's the thing. I think you guys are right, because teams and their social media pages, they pay attention to fans. They see the shit we post, the things we do, and the attention that we see. So I would put money on Jay being right about they absolutely saw the men's post.
There's an example in esports of this happening.
Yeah.
Kadril, at the start of last year, when T1 changed their roster, said, if T1 win this world championship again, I'll shave my head. T1 lost the entire year. And then world championship comes around. And clean sweep.
Oh, man.
And then the defense. For the Rams, I love my Rams, but I will say the secondary last year was a slight weakness.
They're weak point.
It was a weak point.
Don't sugarcoat it.
I'm not sure. Hey, I'm admitting as a Rams fan, we had a weakness. I could have been like, dude, our defense was top notch.
So Jay, is it really admitting if he's putting so much emphasis on slight? It was a weak point. You know it.
But we did improve our secondary by getting 2 cornerbacks.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Right now, the Rams are rated for a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense.
Still going to lose to the Seahawks.
The Seahawks right now are ranked for a top 5 offense and
now
a top 10.
Now you're in punching distance.
So we'll have to see. Mike Evans going to the 49ers was a fucking curveball. I didn't see that happening. I thought he was happy with the Bucs, but maybe the 49ers just gave him more money than the Bucs was. Like, nothing else you can do there. That's $20.133 a year. And now you got Brock Purdy, you got CMC, you got Evans, you got George Kittle. Like, that team is going to hurt next year if they can keep everybody healthy.
Yeah.
But again, that division's going to hurt next year because they always hurt.
Honestly, I feel bad for the Cardinals.
Yeah, now they don't have a QB.
That division, you have Super Bowl winning Seahawks, improved Rams that nearly made it to the Super Bowl. You have the 49ers, who pretty much the only reason they didn't make it farther in the playoffs was because they're in the same division as the Seahawks and the Rams.
And they were injury prone.
Yeah. And then you've got the Cardinals, who, like you said, got rid of their
QB1. The Cardinals is that little sibling that has, like, the 3 older siblings that are, like, all, like, gangster and hot shots. And he's just like, I'm just tagging along.
I'm just here because they offered me chips.
Who's that? Oh, that's my little brother. Like, come on.
Oh, thank the Lord we're not recording this on video.
Like, it's just, that division is so tight, and yet there's always one team, whether it's the Rams, the Seahawks, the 49ers, or the Cardinals, that is left miles
Well, yeah, somebody's got to
behind.
suck. Somebody's got to suck.
Like, it's been how many years that we see 3 teams of that division, the NFC West, go to the playoffs? Insane.
Just make it that division against everybody else.
Yeah. Now,
at this rate.
I'm going to talk about the PWHL before going into my NHL.
Yeah.
Because NHL is going to be rowdy. The PWHL, the top 3 teams change. It's not stable, but the bottom teams are pretty stable right now. Nothing's there. Dubien and René Desbiens, with a goal against average of 1.06 and a save percentage of .958. No wonder they're not losing.
Well, yeah, I mean, if your goalie's giving you that much chance to win,
She's like prime Hellebuck every game.
like, you might as well just give her the shutout every game. Because only allowing in 1 goal a game in this day and age of hockey is nuts.
It is. So, she is Montreal's Superman or Superwoman.
Yeah.
Or Wonder Woman, like She-Hulk, like...
What if she is the backbone?
She's the wall. She's the brick wall, and not a lot goes through. She gets a lot of shots. Like, it makes no sense.
The Great Wall of Victoire.
Oh, yup. Now, games to look up for. Seattle versus Minnesota. Minnesota needs every win right now in that top just to get a better opponent or just get a better placement.
Just to solidify playoff.
And that's on Friday. On Sunday, Boston versus Montreal. They are the 2 top teams right now. That could change with Friday's game, but that game is going to depict a lot of the standings.
Tentatively, must-watch hockey.
Basically, unless the Habs are on. But Sunday, Habs are never on. So,
You really need to get your priorities checked here, but
nah, Habs.
we got top of the league here.
Yeah, but Montreal's Montreal. So
Yeah, Montreal Victoire.
You know what? Fair. At the end of the day, fair. Okay. Here we go.
So do I put my earplugs in now?
No. Let's talk
Turning the mic down.
Let's talk one about that suspension. Malkin.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Crosby is still in the IR. There has not been an update on Crosby. Malkin is... He's been on this team for 18, 19 years.
His whole career.
Yeah. I understand not having Crosby is frustrating. But axe chopping Dahlin is not the way to go.
Well, no. You shouldn't be doing that to anybody at any
This
level.
man, two-handed, full swing to the neck area. He got a 5-game suspension, and as much as I love Evgeny Malkin, it was well deserved.
Here's the thing that, as a sports fan, I've never quite figured out my opinion on. Because in sports, we have this tendency to allow for more physicality and more leniency in some, I guess, plays that if you were just out on the street, never fly, right? Take hockey for example, right? You are completely within the rules to absolutely truck a guy.
Yep.
Right? So already, because it's a sport and because you're in these for all intents and purposes sanctioned events, you have this extra leeway. But if you're to the point where you are taking a solid stick to somebody's neck,
Full swing.
like outside of the rink,
That's an attempted murder.
right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's what he tried to do. I just want to point out that these guys are allowed this leniency to play, obviously, but a 5-game suspension doesn't feel like enough. Like that.
He had to get a suspension.
Well,
I will
yes.
have to agree with you. 5 games might be slightly short, but now you also have to think Pittsburgh is without their core leading group.
Well, yeah, like
Malkin is
Pittsburgh's
out.
going to suffer.
Yeah, Malkin is out. Crosby is out. All they have right now is Letang and Carlson. Maybe Raquel. They have Rust.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, their top 2 leaders and, like, glue guys are now out because one's injured. And I hope he gets better soon because they're going to need him.
Yeah.
And one got angry.
Yeah. I'm still baffled by how long Crosby's been out. I'm sure it's more severe of an injury than what any, regular Joe fan is going to be let in on, but I really thought watching the end of the Olympics and seeing how he was portraying himself, I really thought he'd be back soon.
Yeah.
So I'm
we'll have
shocked
to
that he's
see,
still out.
but also another injury, I don't necessarily, because I'm same page as you, I don't necessarily like talking about games that we are doing that are happening while we're recording. I saw a video of Nikolai Ehlers.
Yeah.
He did come back later, so it didn't seem too serious, but he got slammed in the board, knee first, and his knee kind of, I don't know how to depict it.
It buckled.
No, his knee, the rest of his body made it so that his knee, instead of going outwards and then his body slamming, and went inwards towards his stomach, and then slammed into the boards.
Oh, he crumpled onto his knee.
So
okay.
He did get helped off the ice from his teammate, but he was back later in the game.
Okay, that's usually a good sign, but
Yeah.
it could also just be that he was still in shock.
That could be too. So I will have to keep a solid check on that because he is a solid guy to have. The standings, the Atlantic keeps switching. Like you see me check him every day, and every day it's a different combination. So
Somebody's here, somebody's there, somebody's missing. And
the rest of the team is pretty much stationary. The Pacific is the Pacific. Like I don't know how often I gotta tell you. Like if the Ducks were in the Atlantic, they'd be 5th.
Well, here's the thing. If the Ducks, the top of the Pacific, in any other division, are no higher than 4th.
Yeah, they're in the wild card.
So
right now, if you put the Ducks in the Eastern Conference, they're out of the wild card by 3 points.
insane. Like, if the Pacific, like, here's the issue I have with the Pacific right now, is most divisions are either very even, like within themselves from top to bottom, or you have something like the Central Division, very, very top heavy. You have the Avs, Stars, Wild, and then you have like the Hawks and Blues at the bottom.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes up for, you have strength on the top end, weakness at the bottom. It makes up for it. Atlantic Division, very balanced throughout. You know, obviously the top is stronger than the bottom, but, you know, it's fairly even. Then you look at the Pacific. It is the worst top of the division. It is the worst bottom of the division.
Well, not only that, the top 6 teams of the Pacific are only 9 points in difference. So the top 6 teams are actually pretty tight. But then you go to Calgary and Vancouver, and
it falls off the edge of the earth.
There's 29 points between first and second in the Pacific. In the Central, now this doesn't help. Huh?
You mean first and eighth?
First and last, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you said first and second.
Oh, my bad. First and last. Now, the Central, not really fair because you got Colorado, Minnesota, and Dallas just winning everything. But there's a 40-point difference between the Central, Colorado, and Chicago.
Yeah.
Now you go into the East. You got the Metro with only 28 points difference. You got the Atlantic with only 21 point difference between first and last.
Mm-hmm.
The Central almost have more indifference from first to last than the combined sum of the Atlantic and Metropolitan's difference from first to last.
Yeah. No, that Western Conference is so
lopsided.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, the Pacific Division in a vacuum, in its own, is competitive.
Yeah.
Like you said, 1 through 6 within 9 points. It's just compared to the rest of the league, they're awful.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to sugarcoat that. So,
now talking about the Atlantic Division.
Oh boy.
This is where the crash out happened. You got Tampa Bay at the time, who were number 1,
mm-hmm.
and Buffalo at the time, who were number 2.
Mm-hmm.
You got number 1 and number 2 of the Atlantic Division. 8-7's not acceptable!
You know what makes the 8-7 even worse?
Is that Tampa was winning 7-5 at one point.
It was 1-0 after the first period.
Yeah.
There were 14 goals.
Yeah.
In 40 minutes.
Yeah.
This game ended in regulation.
Yeah.
There was 102 minutes of penalties.
There was 2 comebacks. So Buffalo took the lead 3-0. And then Tampa took the lead 4-3.
Yep.
And then it was 5-4, 5-5. And then Tampa took the lead to 7-5 with 10 minutes left in the game. 10 minutes left in the game. I don't know what happened on that Buffalo bench or what happened on the Tampa bench. Like, did John Cooper give back the beer? Or did Buffalo turn around and be like, hold my beer and my joint?
No. The best smelling salts. Just the nuclear stuff.
Dude!
He gave him the Buffalo Wings?
Yeah, absolutely.
10 minutes left. It's 7-5 for Tampa Bay. I looked at my brother, because we were paying attention to this. I looked at my brother, and I was like, 7-5, it's done. Tampa win. And then he's like, 20 minutes later, yeah, 8-7. I was like, oh, Buffalo brought it overtime. Tampa won. And he goes, for Buffalo in regulation. I was like, huh?
You ain't lying to me, are you?
I had to check. And after I checked that there was, as you said, 102 penalty minutes. You ready for this? 10 people got fighting majors. There was 50 minutes of penalties in fights.
Just go to UFC at this point.
No, even better. I saw a video the other day. It's just ice boxing. It is like a 8x8 cube of ice with boards around it and 2 guys in hockey gear, no gloves, just going at it. It is just the fights of the hockey. That's what that game turned into.
At a point, it's hockey. I like the occasional fight. I do. Like, ask Chris. He sees me when Montreal gets in a fight. I'm riled up, and then we're ready to go. But 5?
15 minutes of fight.
Like 1 or 2? Okay. But 5?
Because the thing is that these fights, they were spread out throughout the game, right? Like, this wasn't just one big fight and then send all 10 guys to penalties. No, this was...
The game's 60 minutes. You got 50 minutes of penalty. Of fighting. In a 60-minute game. Like, I know it's only considered 25 minutes in total. But the game's 60 minutes. You got more penalty minutes than a game. You got 5 damn periods of penalty minutes. You know what's the only thing longer than that? Some playoff games. But 102 penalty minutes? Like, look, I understand. Battle Florida, there's always a lot of penalty minutes. We've come to accept that as the normal. I don't know, Tampa Bay got a lot of punchable guys. Come on!
Stop punching faces. I was going to say stop punching faces and put the puck in the net, but they did that too!
8-7 for the two top Atlantic teams, in my opinion, is unacceptable. I was expecting a 3-2, maybe a shutout win, overtime.
Hey, the goalies were too busy fighting.
The goalies didn't fight. I was surprised. They said 5 fights. I was like, goalie fight for sure. Nope.
I cannot remember the numbers, but I saw a weird statistic the other day of at the time when Tampa was up 7-5.
Probably.
Right? There's some statistic out there of Tampa's record when scoring 7 first.
And it was like,
and Buffalo's record when letting in 7 first.
Yeah, it's
right?
completely opposite.
There is no reason Buffalo should have come back to win this, especially like you said, down 2 with 10 minutes left.
Tampa Bay had a perfect record when scoring 7+ goals. Buffalo, on the other hand, had 1 victory and like 300 and something losses.
I think,
now they got 2.
Yeah,
but
well, I think going back their entire franchise just...
Yeah, they're like 744 or something like that.
Yeah, right. I think they have won 3 games.
Yeah.
Where they have let in 7 goals before getting to that mark themselves.
Yeah.
3! Make it 4, I guess. But...
It makes no...
Well, it doesn't make sense, especially since it's Buffalo we're talking about. The team that has been the playoff laughingstock for the last decade.
Hey,
and
whoa,
half.
whoa. That's the Leafs.
Okay, fine. The gesture to the Leafs.
Whoa. That's Ottawa.
The Jester's aid?
Boston.
The Jester's aid
Florida.
sister. Buffalo. Who, at the start of the season, was widely expected to not even contend for the playoffs, is now a playoff favorite.
Did you know, since December 9th, they're 28-5-2?
I mean, props to them, but damn, couldn't they have done this sooner?
They got rid of their GM finally. They get rid of the GM, they start producing. It's all in the front office sometimes.
You know, I'm a big guy for being against teams that have a lot of success but fall short and then immediately fire their coach.
Maybe Buffalo should have done that.
I think they should have done it a little earlier. Yeah, I think they're late.
Okay, all aside, we got that rant out of the way. Let me just get through my games to watch. You can go with your WBC, and then we can finally hand the phone to our diversity hire over here, okay?
Shots.
It's okay, they're in the chamber. They haven't been fired yet.
Games to watch. Tomorrow, Montreal versus Ottawa. Now, for once, it's not because of Montreal. Ottawa's pushing for a wildcard spot. They need this win. Now, as a Montreal fan, that ain't going to happen. But for Ottawa to get into that wildcard spot, or to at least fight for it, they need this win against Montreal.
Yeah.
On Thursday, Edmonton versus Dallas. Edmonton needs to win this game to stay out of the wild card. Because it's already a competitive wild card as is in the Western. Mm-hmm. They cannot afford to be in that battle. Carolina versus Tampa Bay on Saturday is the top 3 teams in the Eastern. Hopefully, it doesn't end with 102 minutes of penalties, 5 fights, and a score of 8-7.
98 minutes of penalties.
Don't even get me started. Sunday, Anaheim versus Montreal. The only reason I find this one to be important, it is a Ivan Dummy Dove and a Beckett-Seneke rematch. The rookies.
Okay.
They're both in the race for the Calder.
Yeah.
As we said last week, it is Schaefer's to lose, but if either one of these two pop off, they could make a good run to attempt to get it.
Mm.
Monday, Utah versus Dallas. Utah's in the same position as Ottawa. They need every win they can to try to stay in the wild card or even try to bump up, but they're in the Central. So, a little bit of a come see, come saw.
They control what they can. They win the game, and they see what happens.
Yeah, so we're going to have to keep track of that. Hopefully that Carolina and Tampa Bay game is actually going to be entertaining and not just a UFC match. But those are the games to watch for next week. And I guess it's off to you now with the Classic.
Well, yeah. So mentioned the WBC standings a little bit ago. Some interesting stories from this past week of WBC. Czechia's starting pitcher, Andre Satoria.
You mean Zappy?
Yep. Held Japan scoreless through 4 2/3 innings.
Why is this impressive? I mean,
it's Japan. It's Shohei Ohtani.
Yes, it's
He's
Japan.
an electrician. This man, his day job is as an electrician. He first burst onto the scene back in the 2023 WBC, where he struck out Shohei Ohtani in 3 pitches.
So he's Shohei's kryptonite.
Oh,
so why is
absolutely.
the MLB not hiring this guy?
Maybe
Blue
he just
Jays,
loves
call
being an
him up.
electrician. Maybe
Actually, no, Blue Jays were pretty set right now.
Yeah. But a feel-good story for him. Held Japan scoreless, 4 2/3. This game was being played in front of a predominantly Japanese supporting fan base.
Whoops.
He was welcomed with a standing ovation when he left the mound. Because I'm not sure if he played in like a Japanese baseball league or whatnot in the past few years, but he has become well known with Japan. They love him. So
that's sportsmanship right there.
Yeah, so he walked off to a standing ovation. And in fact, the relief pitcher that came in for Czechia actually held Japan scoreless continuing into the 8th inning until Japan railed off like 9 runs in that inning.
It's Japan. What'd you expect?
Yeah. So Czechia, even though they end the WBC 0-4, feel-good story, shows that baseball really is an international sport. Brazil also finished 0-4, but a very cool thing happened. Joseph Contreras from Brazil, he's 17 years old.
And playing in the WBC.
Yeah, 17-year-old pitcher. Got himself into a little bit of a pickle in the second inning in their game.
Okay, what do you mean, a little bit of a pickle? Are we talking like 1 base on, 2 base on, like?
Second inning, USA up 2-1. Bases loaded.
Who was up to
1 out. Aaron Judge. 17-year-old kid. I mean, when I was 17, I was stressing out about math exams. Not even exams, math tests.
How was he not dropping bricks?
You want to tell me that at 17, this kid steps on the mound, however many feet it is away from Aaron Judge, of all people. This kid pitches into him, breaks his bat, and gets the inning-saving double play. At 17.
He's gonna get watched a lot.
Aaron Judge post-game gave him props. Aaron Judge himself said at 17 he wasn't doing that.
That has to be a confidence boost for that
Absolutely. Honestly, he's a name that I will keep on my radar for the next 5, 8, 10 years. Because if this is what he's doing at 17, as long as he gets the right coaching and development, he could genuinely be something good. Something great even.
Yep.
Now, last story from the WBC, a bit of a dumb one. in my opinion. Cal Raleigh and Rosarena.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Seattle Mariner teammates in their game against each other in the WBC. Rosarena came up to bat, tried to shake Raleigh's hand, give him a fist bump, whatever. Cal Raleigh declined it.
I think he was just in the moment of the game. He's trying to stay focused.
I mean, you are competitors in that moment. And, like, if it's before the game, sure. If it's after the game, sure. You're in the middle of an at-bat.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I understand wanting to be like, hey, bud, what's up? There are better times for it. So I honestly thought it should have just been a decline and move on. But
he thought
a Rosarena took offense to it, which is so dumb. And is also going to be really weird because they're on the same team this coming MLB season.
Yeah, so like, we'll have to keep tuning on that and see if maybe in the locker room something changes.
Yeah. I mean, Cal Raleigh said that there was no beef, but Rosarena obviously thinks there is, so we'll have to see. So that's the WBC. Quickly here, just some hometown sports. Saskatchewan Rush, 10-3 record, still top of the NLL. They have one game this coming week, March 14th, versus the San Diego Seals, who currently sit at 6-6, kind of middle of the pack. Saskatoon Blades, middle of the pack, but they have clinched the playoff spot, so the remainder of their games is basically just for seeding. They have two games this coming week. It's a back-to-back, so it's March 13th and 14th, both games against the Swift Current Broncos. The Swift Current Broncos are the last place team in the WHL right now.
So knock on wood, should be some easy games.
Knock on wood, the Blades should come out this week with 2 more wins on the record. So that about does it for me and Miggy. It is after hours. So as scared as I am to hand the mic over to Jay, it is that time of the night.
I'm going to start this segment off with a bit of a meme currently going on in the League of Legends community. Did Crownie have prio? If you look at the plays, you'll know that he didn't. But he still said he had prio, and he crashed out like any other ADC. Now, for actual sports, cricket. Kryptonite struck again to South Africa. The curse still continues of the semifinals.
Painful.
Very.
Painful.
But hey, it saved the household debacle though, so...
That's true. I didn't have to fist fight you over dishes.
Right?
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, India took revenge in the finals.
Belt the ass.
43 balls left out of 120.
Yeah.
And all out, Bumrah went to town with that ball. Uprooting stumps left and right.
Yeah, so India
winning the World Cup.
Yep, World Cup champions.
3rd time in a row.
Grudge match coming up, though.
Grudge match coming up between South Africa and New Zealand. A 5-game series for T20s. Next week.
Grudge match, exhibition.
We can
spanking.
Do it better than you.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
right.
As a South Afrikaner, I'm sad to see. I'm sad to see what happened, but I'm happy for you, Jay. I really am.
So is that exhibition a best of 5 or are they
a best of 5?
All 5?
No, it's a best of 5.
It's a best of 5, but they're gonna be playing all 5 regardless.
It'll be really
5-0 South Africa. I am calling it now.
I was gonna say it'd be really funny if South Africa just turns around and bam, 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 bam.
It is a best of 5 where the series will be decided most likely after the 3rd match, but they will still play it out.
5-0 South Africa. You heard it here.
Now, hearing the 17-year-old baseballer reminded me of this cricket prodigy from India. Get this. This kid is 14 years old.
Why does Jay always one-up you?
I don't know. He's taller than me, too, apparently.
Now, understand this. This kid legally can't play international cricket above 18 with the A team for India.
Yeah.
But he can play in the Indian Premier League, which is honestly more popular than the international cricket.
Yeah.
Now, last year, he did play as the youngest kid.
Yeah, you can barely even call him like a teenager. Like
Right? He became a teenager 2 years ago.
He's 14.
Man's still going through puberty.
Right? And these are his stats for those. He played 7 matches.
Okay.
He faced 122 balls. His total runs, 252.
He averaged more than 2 runs a ball?
Mm-hmm. Now, in those 2 runs a ball, he scored 100. He scored
had a century?
He had a century in T20 against Gujarat Titans, at that time leading the leaderboard.
A century as a 14-year-old against top of the league.
Against top of the league.
Yeah.
Like, you got top, and then you have those guys.
Yeah, they were leading the league by 17 points.
Yeah, exactly. You have top, and then you got those guys.
Right?
Can y'all tell that Miggy has no idea what he's talking about?
He
Because
scored
watching him try...
the match before the century. He scored a 50.
So he scored a half century and then a century.
The match after.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a strike rate
14.
of 206. Meaning, in IPL, per ball, he's making 2 runs minimum.
Okay, yeah, that kid. I
He's
know,
played 7 matches.
I know we use the word prodigy, but like I know we use it. Like,
Yeah.
That kid's a prodigy.
Uh-huh.
Capital P.
And, to top it off, he's a left-hander.
Huh?
Oh, so he's
southpaw.
unique too.
He's southpaw. He is... You cannot bowl to him from onside wicket.
He just is a unicorn.
Like, you bowl to him from onside. He's sending that ball out of the stadium.
So you're telling me that the Indian prodigy, right?
Yeah.
14-year-old.
Is good, is mythical, and is embarrassing top teams.
Yes.
Let's see. He's legally not allowed to play in another under 18 World Cup. Because he already dominated one. To the point where nobody was close. One of his innings in an ODI World Cup was 195 runs. In one inning. I'm sorry, but
One inning or one game?
like one inning.
Okay.
So a cricket game usually only has 2 innings. One for one team and the second for the second team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
So they have one turn each.
One turn
yeah,
each.
an inning is
Okay.
a turn. Yeah.
One turn each. So in one match, he goes 195, not out.
Most teams,
He ran out of balls to play.
I was about to say most teams don't even the full batting rotation don't even hit that in a full 20 overs.
Oh no, this was an ODI.
Yeah.
So 50 overs.
No, but what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
is that like
195 is a high score for a T20.
yeah.
It's an average score for an ODI.
Yeah.
But for 14 years old, though,
Dude was 13 at the time.
that's even worse.
They're far better. If you
Like,
damn.
as I said, he's legally not allowed to play anymore until 15 more days where he turns 15. And now he can play for the Indian international team.
Oh, great. So India's just that much
They are
better
just
in 2
waiting.
weeks. Great.
And they're taking him to face England in the T20s in July. You can bet my ass.
Whatever's there.
I was about to say, there ain't much there to bet. What you talking about?
Exactly, so I'm going for broke.
Man's putting a penny in and hoping for the bag.
Now, moving away from cricket, F1. These new cars, man. Some love them, some don't. Now,
I thought everybody hated them.
the drivers all do.
Yeah, that.
The fans, though, some of them love them because the cars make it so that the races are more enjoyable in watching, even though the PERT isn't there sometimes, because the overtakes are that much frequent.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The changes in position are that much frequent.
I could see that. More change means more suspense.
Yeah.
But
like, honestly, in my opinion, if you go 327 kilometers an hour as your top speed, and then all of a sudden you lose 50 because your battery needs to recharge.
So, for those at home, I'll let Jay correct me on this. The current F1 cars are using, what is it? A 50-50 gas to electricity split, essentially.
Yep.
These batteries have to charge midway through the race at times.
So do they just take out the battery? Put
No. What will happen is that mid-race, the battery portion of the engine will just be empty.
And the gas will compensate for it by going slower and charging that battery.
So your power output from your engine is inconsistent. And not just in every now and again there's a hiccup. No. Your battery half shuts off at multiple times in the race and you have no control over it.
Now, imagine that, and then you're in an Aston Martin car where you're producing already 100 kilowatts less than the average team. No wonder they place 17th with 15 laps left to.
You're already in a weak engine. You're just
those races are already unpredictable at times. Adding that variable to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the betting markets are losing. Now, for the Australian GP, George Russell coming in first place in his Mercedes, and then following it, Kimi Antonelli in another Mercedes. So, I wonder who made the best car.
I was gonna say I'm not big on numbers, but I'm kind of the number guys, and the numbers are adding up a little.
The numbers are adding up a little too.
Now, get this: the two Mercedeses. I don't know how to say it.
Mercedes.
The two Mercedes were only 2.974 seconds apart. The third place.
One was charging its battery while the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Third place, Charles Leclerc in his Ferrari was 15 seconds behind. Third place.
So someone has a secret formula.
Lewis Hamilton.
Formula 1.
Lewis Hamilton in another Ferrari was 16 seconds behind.
So only a second behind
his partner.
So they're making cars.
So they're the
teams
cars
making cars are making them so that they're close. It's just that you have Mercedes and then Ferrari
and then everybody else.
And then last you got Austin.
Well, let's see. Fifth place, Lando Norris in his McLaren. 51 seconds behind first place.
So what is Ferrari doing different?
Fuel formula. Their fuel formula is different than everyone else. Now,
check the fuel for PEDs.
Now, the thing is, compression ratio is also what I talked about in our Ferrari episode.
You mean your Formula 1?
Formula 1 episode.
I was gonna say we had.
He's thinking about the movie.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the goddamn movie. Anyway, the compression ratio for the Mercedes and Ferrari engines are different than the rest of the grid. Now, in sixth place, Max Verstappen at 54 seconds behind the first place. Now, understandably, he's that far behind because guess what? He crashed in his qualifying race. He had a DNF for his qualifying lap. So he was in position 20 at start of the race. At the back of the grid.
So he climbed, 15 spots?
He climbed 15 spots in his Red Bull.
And weren't you saying that Red Bull's car not really that good?
They're middle of the grid.
Yeah, Red Bull, for how
this is just a Verstappen diff.
Yeah. For how good of a driver they have under contract.
Man has plot armor.
Their
You
cars
should
are
watch him race. It's like they set an animal loose.
No, but like Max Verstappen is so good. Formula One's advertising group knows it. If you see the ads and like the start of season cinematics, it's everybody else, and then you have Verstappen with the Star Wars Imperial theme in the background.
Now, Verstappen is quite unhappy with the new cars, saying that he might not even finish the season and retire.
That would be a big loss for F1.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of revenue.
Like, he really does not like that 50-50 split because he, as I said, lives on the freaking edge. This boy races for 24 hours, goes home, takes a nap, and boots up F1 Simulator. He bleeds F1.
Maybe that's what Red Bull should do. Take a sample of his blood, use that for their fuel mixture. There's got to be something in there.
Now, Red Bull did something crazy as well. They took a gamer and put that gamer in their second car.
So like a la Gran Turismo?
A la Gran Turismo. This Isaac Hajar, the best simulation racer for F1 in the world. Red Bull gave him a chance at F1. Now, again, the curse of the second car of Red Bull returns. His engine overheated and he could not finish the race.
I mean, it's not the kid's fault, but they're probably going to blame him for it anyways.
No. This
really?
this has been an ongoing curse with Red Bull second car. They either crash, engine overheats. Their second car is just usually not up to par, even though the specs are the same.
It's a ghost somewhere.
Either that or they're just forced to make sure the first one's good and that the second one's a decoy.
Yeah, maybe.
Oscar Piastri crashing before the formation lap on his home turf. He's an Australian who did not qualify for Australian GP.
That's gotta be rough.
Oh, yeah.
Cadillac, new arrival to F1. Bottas. Hey, he wasn't last.
That sounds like the worst header. Bottas, hey, he wasn't last.
I mean, he was 19th place out of 22.
You might as well be last.
It's like saying the Flames aren't last.
Yeah.
Now his teammate, Perez, was 16th.
Okay.
And Canadian, Stroll.
Lance Stroll.
Brother, what is wrong with you?
So much. So much.
This dude does not know that he has a blind spot.
He just goes.
Like, one of these days, Max Verstappen is going to climb out of his car mid-race and beat this fucker up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's been terrorizing just the circuit for so long. It's a miracle. Like, I'm glad that there's a Canadian in the competition, but, like,
Why him?
he's a danger at this point. Like,
He is a danger to the sport.
Like, he really is.
Ocon casually terrifying his teammates.
Of course.
Where, on an interview, with a smile, he just said, after one of his crashes, he peed red for a week. With a smile on his face.
I really hope he got that checked out.
My guess is, with a smile on his face, probably not.
And
He's probably still peeing red.
Franco Colapinto.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
From, I don't know what team, Alpine. The reaction time on that man. Nearly avoiding a crash at launch.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
When one of the cars in the front stalled.
Oh, it just didn't move. Yeah, no, that's a disaster avoided.
I recommend you look up that clip because that is a feat of freak of nature. Because that reaction time is less than 50 milliseconds.
Yeah.
That's like you're moving before your eyes.
Oh no, that's pure
That
instinct.
is you're moving before your eyes get the picture in it.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't even sent the signal to your brain yet.
No,
It's pure muscle memory.
Yeah.
So that ends the Australian Grand Prix with Russell taking the podium. See you guys in China next week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the F1 season turns out and if these new cars are gonna last much longer.
If Verstappen's gonna end the season or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, if your big name is threatening to retire over this,
One, that's a loss of sponsors for Red Bull.
I don't think he's gonna quit Red Bull. He'll quit F1.
yeah, no, retire.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
be done.
So like he just stops racing.
Yes.
He stops racing F1. He is showing an interest in GT.
Oh, that'd be fun, actually.
What is GT?
It is supercars. Not F1, not quite fast. Still quite fast. And to be honest, this man, a few seasons ago, if I believe, took a week off of F1, saying his stomach hurt, went off grid, entered a GT race under an alias, and broke the previous record on that course.
That sounds about right.
GT Verstappen 2027?
And he said that it's less risk. He gets to go home to his wife. So we might be seeing Verstappen in lower tier races.
Which would bring more viewers anyways.
Yeah.
F1 would lose a lot, though, and they're kind of on the decline in terms of viewership these days, so we'll have to see.
Smaller cars definitely are harder to handle, though.
Yeah.
People are spinning out left and right.
Well, speaking of spinning out, I think the three of us have done a lot of spinning out tonight as is. So, Miggy, you good?
I'm good.
Jay, you good?
I need Prile.
That concludes the episode for tonight. The mic is turning off.
Be whoop.